What's up, good people? It's your man. I just want to jump on here and talk to you guys real quickly. Um, if y'all are keeping up with the news, then you should be aware of what just recently happened as far as this president of the United States had ordered the strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. And so three of Iran's nuclear facilities were struck as of yesterday. And on the screen here, as you can see, I have Russia's thoughts, so to speak, on what occurred yesterday. And let me move this down so you can see that Russia strongly condemns U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. And this is coming from Russia's foreign ministry. And so here you can see where he says, or they say, or whomever, the irresponsible decision to subject the territory of a sovereign state to missile and bomb strikes flagrantly violates international law. Okay, because there are laws when it comes down to war, which is something I've not ever understood, to where you have hundreds of thousands of lives being lost, innocent lives being lost, but yet there are laws when it comes down to war. And so I'm going to move forward here real quickly to the next one. So this is the next statement that was made. It is particularly alarming that the strikes were carried out by a country that is a permanent member of the UN Security Council, which is the United Nations. And if you've been keeping up with the news, Trump has been kind of rubbing the other members of the United Nations the wrong way as well. With his comments and the things that he's doing. For example, Canada, which is a part of the United Nations. But as we know, he's been, flying off at the mouth when it comes down to Canada and his thoughts on Canada and things like that. But this isn't what this is about. So let me move on to the next little clip I have here. So here, is just a statement that was made by the leader of the Russians' Liberal Democratic Party. And the guy's name is Leonid Slutsky. And so he said that the strikes had no military reason for the U.S. and cannot be justified under international law, meaning that they are disagreeing once again with what Donald Trump has ordered the military to do. The consequences of the escalation threaten to go beyond the region. Washington understands that the inevitability of Tehran's response. All this brings the spiral of confrontation to a new level and increases the risk of World War III. Slutsky, who heads the State Duma International Affairs Committee, wrote on Telegram, in which, if you've been watching my videos, I've been saying time and time again that the actions of this president is going to cause World War III. And you see here where Russia, which is a country that this president claimed to be great friends with and all this other nonsense, in which once again all he does is tell lies, in which I knew and a lot of other people have known that Putin looks at the president of this country as a clown, as if he's not a real leader. And they do not agree once again with what he has done. And as I move along, you will see why Russia doesn't agree with this as well. But this guy is basically saying that his actions could be the cause of World War III. And when they speak about escalation threatening to go beyond the region, they mean war coming to the United States and our borders, is what he's alluding to. That there's a possibility that we will be bombed here in the United States because of the actions of the so-called leader of this country. Okay, so let's go on to my next slide that I have here. So here, Russia, and this was previous before the strikes that he had done, that Russia is telling the United States not to strike Iran because it would radically destabilize the Middle East. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov said on Wednesday. And Moscow said Israeli strikes risk triggering a nuclear catastrophe. Okay, so by them saying that Russia and Iran, which we'll go into it further, Russia and Iran are basically allies, okay? And Russia knows more about what's going on in Iran than what the United States knows, than what the Israeli government knows, and pretty much any other country knows. And so by them saying that, they're stating that a nuclear catastrophe, meaning that there could be a possible nuclear explosion over in Iran because of the attacks that could cause damage to the environment, but as well, a nuclear catastrophe could allude to a nuclear war, if you see what I'm saying. And so Russia knows that Iran possibly has nuclear weapons, and not only that, if there's some type of nuclear spill or something like that, that could cause problems to their natural environment over there. And I didn't mean to move forward. I made a mistake and pressed that. Let me go back a little bit. And the reason why I say that, because if we read further along, Russia signed a strategic partnership with Iran in January, and also has a relationship with Israel, although it has been strained by Moscow's war in Ukraine. But more so, Russia signed a strategic partnership with Iran in January. And I'll go into a little more details. I don't have that full agreement, but I'll go into a little more details on what that strategic agreement or whatever have you kind of includes, okay? But once again, it's showing us that Russia has some type of interest with Iran, and that's why Russia is disagreeing with what the United States has just done as of yesterday. So let's go over to the slide that I pulled up that I didn't mean to. So basically, here is kind of an overview of that treaty that was signed. Russia and Iran have signed a comprehensive strategic partnership treaty, deepening their ties in various areas. The treaty, signed by Russian President Vladimir Putin and Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, covers areas like trade, military cooperation, science education, and culture. The agreement is seen as a response to Western sanctions and aims to strengthen their alliance in the face of shared geopolitical challenges. Okay? And so the biggest thing here, military cooperation, you guys. Okay? And then this agreement was in response to Western sanctions, meaning the United States sanctions that have been put on either one of those two countries. And it aims to strengthen their alliance in the face of shared geopolitical challenges, meaning that many countries disagree with what Russia has been doing in reference to Ukraine. Okay. And then not only that, a lot of other countries disagree with Iran and what they're doing when it comes down to building nuclear weapons. So that's what the geopolitical challenges are. All right. And like I said, the biggest thing is military cooperation. Even though Russia has not involved themselves so far in the conflict between Iran and Israel, because Russia and Israel have some type of agreement, but the United States has no agreement with Russia. Okay. And when it comes down to, once again, military cooperation, meaning that if it's in the best interest of Russia to involve themselves into this conflict because of what the United States has just done, then Russia is going to do so. And you saw in that previous slide that I had shown you that the Russian leaders believe that the United States has basically pushed this world on the verge of going into World War III, and this is coming from the mouths of the Russians. But yet we had a so-called leader that ran his entire bid for the White House based off of ending wars, that he would be the reason for World War III not happening, and that it would have been Biden that would have been the cause of World War III, in which we didn't have, because Biden finished all 4 years, and he finished those 4 years without any type of military conflict, for the most part, involving the United States, other than aiding Israel. But it still wasn't a war that the United States had basically triggered or was involved in a sense. But we did help Ukraine with weapons. We did help shoot down missiles that were being fired at Israel, but we did not fire any of our missiles into Iran. And that's what just happened, that missiles were fired or dropped onto or into Iran, which now is a threat, which now is a sign of war, in which the Iranian speaker or whatever have you stated that Iran has the right now to defend themselves. And in defending themselves, that means attacking any type of military establishments that may be in Iran and or in Iraq or any of those surrounding countries that are in allegiance to Iran. Because there are several countries that are in allegiance to Iran in that area, in which that means that they're going to fight, and they're going to fight tooth and nail to the very end. And we also have to be prepared of the possibility of war here in this country. That if it gets too out of hand, that Russia may get involved, and we're going to be back at that Cold War status or stage, to where we don't know if and when a nuclear war may happen. And I'm going to show you guys this last slide before I finish up. I believe this is my last one. So yes. And so this was Donald Trump, and this was on June 17th. So this was about a week ago, if I'm not mistaken, last week. But this is his comments on the leader of Iran, stating, and this is Donald J. Trump's problem. He posts everything on social media as if social media is some type of platform that is secret. You get what I'm saying? Everything that he says is being broadcast to the masses, and he is such a childish-minded so-called adult, because he doesn't act like an adult. He throws all kinds of insults, and he goes on social media and posts things like this, stating that we, and I don't know who we is, but he knows exactly where. And he calls him a so-called supreme leader. You see what I'm saying? It's hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We are not going to take him out, meaning kill him, at least not for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, we have to analyze this, okay? For one, he's saying a so-called supreme leader, in which that's what this Donald J. Trump is. He's a so-called leader himself. You know, we have to realize that sometimes we say things that actually we are. You get what I'm saying? So then he turns around and says he's an easy target, but yet he's safe. It's so contradicting. How can you be an easy target, but you're in a safe place, if you see what I'm saying? That makes no sense at all. Like I said, the way that this guy uses his words, if you don't have enough common sense or enough intellect, you will fall right into his trap. Okay? We're not going to take him out and or kill him, at least not for now. And then he turns around and tries to get the pity of the citizens of this country by saying that we're not going to allow him we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. You see what I'm saying? And so that goes to him using the pity tactic. He has to put American or America in there somewhere to rile up the American citizens to feel like what he is doing is right. You see what I'm saying? It's all about mind games, y'all. And you have to be on top of your game in order to catch on to his foolishness that he uses. And then he uses the word civilians as if our lives here in the United States were in any more danger than what it is now because of what he has decided to do. We weren't in that much danger. This war or conflict that was going on is and was between Iran and between Israel. Now that he has involved the United States, as civilians, we are now in danger. He has put us in danger at this point. He has put more American soldiers in danger at this point because they weren't shooting off as many missiles or shooting at as many American soldiers as they are going to do now. And not only that, you're going to have to put American soldiers into positions to defend this country, meaning that you're putting the American soldiers in the line of fire. And this is what he has done with his actions. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, we don't want Iran to have nuclear weapons, but North Korea does, the United States does, Russia has them, and who knows whoever else may have them anyways. And so you do this to say that you're defending this country, but yet you're actually making this country more vulnerable by doing what you have just done, Donald J. Trump. No common sense at all, y'all. And just like he said that he was going to give a 2-week window for Iran to come to the table in order for them to sit down and try and come up with some type of agreement. I put in my other post that wasn't going to happen, that he was lying. And we see as of yesterday that that's exactly what he was doing, is lying. He says one thing and he does another. This is the guy that y'all put in the White House that y'all said was going to defend this American flag and defend everything that this country is supposed to stand for. And he has done the complete opposite time and time again. The only interest that he is worried about is his own personal interest. He has crypto, y'all. He's selling merchandise, y'all. What other president have you ever seen done such low-life things while in office? None. And not only that, another reason why he did what he did, because think about it, y'all. Let's put one and one together. How long ago was he in the Middle East? He just left the Middle East less than a month ago. And he sat down with Saudi Arabians and these other countries. And for what? What were they truly talking about behind closed doors? You see what I'm saying? Because they're not going to tell us everything. We already know that the country, the kings or whatever have you that he sat down with over there all agreed to building hotels, his golf resorts in their country. We know that for a fact. And what else did they talk about? Well, hey, man, we can't have Iran doing this, and the third. We don't like Iran. Y'all gonna have to do something about this, Donald J. Trump, so it could be in the best interest of all of us. Why was this $1 million jet given to him? Was it as a bribe or a thank you gift for what he agreed to do when it came down to Iran? Come on, y'all. He just left the Middle East. We don't know the whole story. And all these little manipulative talking heads that he has around him are not ever going to come to the table and reveal the truth unless in the end he turns on them. That's the only way we're going to get the full truth. But as long as he continues to keep them in these high positions and them paid millions of dollars or whatever it may be, they're going to hush. They're going to keep quiet. Because it's all about their reputation. It has nothing to do with the United States. They could care less about this country, y'all. It's all about them. And I don't care how much arguing they want to do, the actions that they are taking are not in the best interest of the people in this country, especially the people who don't have millions of dollars, who have big. And think about it. He boasted and bragged about oil and gas prices. Imagine what this is going to do to the oil and gas prices now that he has attacked Iran, y'all. The same things that he was boasting and bragging about are going to do the complete opposite. And now it's going to be more expensive to put gas in your car. It's already more expensive to go to the grocery store. It's already more expensive to go buy clothing. What else is going to happen under this guy's watch, y'all? Like I said, he isn't good for this country. He has not ever been good for this country. And all he is a face, a pale face, and I'm not prejudiced whatsoever, but when you say make America great again, the only thing that comes to the mind of brown and black people, the minorities in this country, is putting the whites back in a higher position of power and taking any power and positions that the brown and black people have gotten over the years away from us. And that's exactly what they have proven to do when it came down to DEI. DEI was not just for the brown and black people. And it was for the women as well. It was for some of the white minorities as well, because just because you white don't make you a majority. It makes you a minority when you have to be on food stamps, because you have more white people on food stamps than you do black people. So you got whites that depend on food stamps and all types of government assistance that are now going to lose theirs as well, unless they look at the race of a person to determine whether or not they are illegally receiving these subsidies from the government. If you see where I'm coming from, y'all. So this is not just affecting the brown and black people. It's affecting all minorities. You are a minority when you living at or below poverty level. And he's putting all of y'all into these restraints and into these chains to where you are being forced to believe the lies and the nonsense that he's feeding y'all. And like I say, y'all are just looking at a white face as far as the white people. And there are black people too that will believe a white face over a black face, and thinking that everything he's telling you is going to help you out in the long run. And as we can see, the actions that he's making and taking are going to be the complete opposite, y'all. And hey, these are my opinions, but I have said and I have seen what I've said come to light. Y'all, we got to get it together, man. They're going to have to stand up, because I'm tired of watching these Democrats as well in the House. They sitting there grilling these Republicans. The Republicans aren't answering any of their questions directly, and they sitting there arguing back and forth with one another, and nothing's being done. And when I speak about the black people that trust, look at that Supreme Court black guy. I can't even think of his name. Uncle Tom in the flesh, y'all. And we have those. And I'm not here to bash people right now, but we have those. I worked with a black guy that literally was 2 times darker than I am, married to a white woman, and told me that he is a white man. And I looked at him in his face and I wanted to call him a stupid, ignorant, you know what. But you have to let people believe in what they believe in, because some people will kill you over their stupidity. If you see where I'm coming from. And that's what's going on with this so-called president. He has a bunch of ignorant people following him that's willing to do any and everything because of stupidity. But hey, man, that's all I got to say about this right now. I hope everything turns out for the best. But at the same time, hope isn't the same as what's bound to happen, if you see what I'm saying, or what's going to happen. And what's going to happen, we are going to go into some extremely turbulent times to where a lot of people aren't going to be able to survive the shake, rattle, and roll. But to the ones that are able to endure, More power to you. But this guy is not good for anybody. He ain't even good for his own self and for his own family. But hey, y'all take it easy. It's your man, Cam, just trying to spill this knowledge on y'all. And y'all don't hesitate to like and subscribe, share my videos, and I'll talk to you soon. I'm gone.